Hello everyone, welcome to AJ Fashions and Apparel. Today we'll be learning how to draft simple basic bodice pattern. Please, if you're interested in this video, please like this video, share and subscribe so that you get notification on my next video. So here is my pattern paper. I'll go ahead to mark the vertical measurement first. From the top of the pattern paper, I'll mark 9 inches for my chest line. And I'll mark 12 inches for the bust line, the bust point line. And I'll go ahead to mark 18 inches for the waistline, the half length. Then I'll add 1 inch sewing allowance. I'll mark this on the other part of the pattern paper as well. Just beside it, I'll mark it twice so that I can get a straight line. I'll mark the chest line, the bust point line. I'll mark the waist line and connect this into a straight line. I'll use the pen to highlight it, the marker pen. So after that, I'll go ahead to mark this line. I'll label the lines. Here is the chest line. Here is the bust point line. So here is the waist line. And the other one is for the sewing allowance. So my shoulder, the shoulder measurement I'm working with here is 16 inches. So divided by 2 will give us 8 inches. I will add half an inch to it. I'll add 8.5 inch because of sleeve. If you are drafting pattern and that will not use sleeve for the fabric or when you sew it, you can do just your shoulder divided by 2. So I'll mark my shoulder divided by 2 plus half an inch on the shoulder line and also on the chest line. I'll come down by 1 inch for shoulder slope because our shoulders are not straight. Then 3 inches for the neck width. Here is the basic neckline. Then I'll connect the neck width to the shoulder slope of 1 inch for this front pattern. I'll also mark 3 inches for the neck depth, the neckline depth. So the width of the neckline and the depth are 3 inches, which we normally use for basic neckline. And I'll connect this into a round neck. I'll get the midpoint of this armhole line. On the midpoint, I'll go in by 0.75 inches. You can do 0.5. But because the person that I'm drafting this pattern for is a bit busty, so I'm doing 0.75 for firmness. So I'll mark the bust measurement. The bust is 44. Divided by 4, sorry, is 11 inches. So I'll connect the shoulder slope to the 0.75 inch on the midpoint, and from there I'll connect the curve of the armhole. You can use freehand or you use curve ruler. So here is our armhole. To get your chest line measurement, you can divide your bust measurement by 6. Whatsoever you get, you add 1.5 inch to it. So that will be your bust your armhole line rather. So that will be from your shoulder to your armhole. So I'll go ahead to mark my bust span, which is nipple to nipple, divided by 2 will give me 4 inches. The bust span I'm working with is 8 inches, divided by 2 will give me 4 inches. I'll mark this on the waistline. I'll mark this 1 inch below the bust line as well and connect this into a straight line. I don't want to connect it to the bust line, so that when taking in the dart, the bust point part will not be pointing. I'll open this dart line by 0.5 inch on both sides and connect it to 1 inch below the bust point. So that should not get to the bust point, so that if you are taking in the dart on your fabric, the bust point will not point out. So after this, I'll go ahead to take my body's measurement. The circumference for the bust is 44, divided by 4 is 11 inches. I'll mark the same thing on the bust line and the chest line. I'll come to the waistline. The waist and the sewing allowance line is the same. So I'll mark the waist circumference divided by 4. I got 10 inches. I added 2 inches sewing allowance. Then the dart intake there is 1 inch. So I'll replace the dart to avoid shortage. Then I'll connect these lines together. The sewing allowances and the dart intake line. So the difference between the front bodice and the back is 2 inches. I have 18 inches for the length of the front, and I'll be doing 16 inches for the back. So for the side of this pattern to be equal, we are going to take in the bust dart. On this bust point line, I went down by 2 inches. So from that 2 inches, I'll connect it to the bust point on that dart line. Yes. It depends on the kind of style you want to sew. You can take in your waist dart, you can sew it in and also sew in your bust dart. So you don't necessarily need to cut out your bust dart and your waist dart, except the style you want to sew warrants you to cut it out. So that is all we have for the front bodice. I am going to look the line for the back bodice block. And on this line here, I'll connect the chest line. I will extend it to the back. So the chest line measurement for the front and the back from the shoulder, they are the same. They are the same, except that the waist part will not be the same length, because we'll be doing 16 inches for front waist, for back waist, while the front waist, the half length will be 18 inches. So here I'm taking the measurement of the back waistline. So I have 16 inches for the back half length, and I'll add 1 inch sewing allowance. So I'm marking this on both sides of the pattern paper, so that when I connect the lines together, I will have the straight line. So I've marked this on both parts of the pattern, and I'm connecting this into a straight line, both the half length and also the sewing allowance. So I'll mark my zipper allowance. For this pattern, I'll be using 1.5 inches for my zipper allowance. I'll mark the 1.5 inches on the top, the shoulder line. The top part is the shoulder. I'll mark the 1.5 inches on the shoulder line. I will also come down to the waist part and mark the same 1.5 inches and connect this into a straight line. So here is what I have. I'll label this part zipper. I'll just label it zipper. So that is to note that it is our zipper allowance. Then I'll be using the neck width for the front and the back. They are the same, which is 3 inches. So I'll mark my shoulder divided by 2 plus half of an inch, just like we did to the front bodice. On the chest line as well, I'll also mark the same thing. The shoulder divided by 2 plus 0.5 inch. That is 8.5. So we have 8.5 inches here. I'll make that into a straight line. The back neck depth, I'll be using 1.5 for this pattern. So I can alter it if I want to transfer it to fabric to whatsoever I want. So I'm just doing the basic necklines here. Then the neck width also is 3 inches, just like that of the front. The front and back should be equal for the width, and the depth can be varied. On the shoulder slope of the back, I'll be doing 0.5, just 0.5, because the back of our shoulder is higher than the front part. So I'm taking 0.5 here so that when you put on whatsoever you use this pattern to sew, it will lay well on the shoulder part and there will be no gaping. So I'm connecting the neck width of 3 inches to the neck depth of 1.5 inches. I'll get the midpoint of this armhole line. So on the midpoint of this armhole line, I'll be coming in by 0.25. Unlike the front, where I went in by 0.75, the back I'm doing 0.25. You can do 0.5 inches as well on the back. Then I'll take my bust measurement on the chest line, the bust divided by 4. Then I'll connect the shoulder slope to the 0.25 on the midpoint of the armhole, then to the chest line. You can use freehand for this if you don't have the curve ruler. So I'll do the dots for the back pattern, which is nipple to nipple divided by 2. I have 4 inches here. I'm taking 4 inches on the waistline and also on the chest line. So I'll open these dots by 0.5 inch on both sides of the dot line. I'll make this into a straight line, connect it to the chest line. I'll label this pattern back. Of course, we know it is back pattern since it consists of this zipper allowance, but this is for beginner, so that beginners will know that this is the back pattern when drafting, and also the front is different for the back. The front is different from the back. I'll go ahead to take the circumference of the back pattern, the bust divided by 4 plus 2 inches sewing allowance, then the waistline as well, the waist divided by 4 plus 2 inches sewing allowance, and I'll replace 1 inch for the dots. Then on this zipper allowance part, I measure 1.5 inches on the zipper allowance, but we want to remove the zipper bulge. So I'll mark 1 inch. So this remaining 0.5 inch, we are removing it as the zipper bulge. Then I'll connect that line. You can see the way I place the ruler, just in a slant form. I'll connect it and blend it to the chest line. So by doing this, we have removed the zipper bulge. So that shaded part will be the part that we will cut out. We don't need it again. So we are as well as done with the drafting of this front and back bodice block. It is very easy. It is very easy. So I'll separate the front pattern from the back, then I'll cut. So I'll cut the armhole part, the shoulder slope, and I'll also cut the neckline. So you can alter the neckline to whatsoever you want, if it is sweetheart neck, v-neck, whatsoever, but here is the basic bodice block. So here is the front pattern. You can take in the bust dart. You don't necessarily need to cut it out. You can take it in, sew it in, except you are doing something that is, sorry, except you are sewing some a style that you don't need to take it in, that you cut it out, just like bust here. So I'll go ahead to cut the back bodice block as well. So I'll cut the shoulder slope, the armhole, and voila. Here is what we have for the back, and here is what we have for the front. So please, if you like this video, do well to subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell so that you get the next video.